So imagine you're a child again, walking through the LEGO store and there is loads and loads of sets with some of the most amazing and creativity-sparking box arts that you've ever seen. You didn't watch every Star Wars movie or show, but these sets look so cool that you still want them, even though you don't have a single clue where that ship or character is coming from. But today, something is different. Since 2020, LEGO has changed their direction of marketing sets towards adults. Now they actually put 18+ on the box, they have the whole adults welcome thing going on, and there are way more sets marketed strictly towards adults. I guess LEGO's pretty successful with this as they stuck to their plan till now and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere soon. While the whole increase of numbers of adult sets in contrast to playsets is a whole different topic on its own, which I someday want to cover on the channel, today I want to talk about something else, and as you've already seen it in the thumbnail, it's the modern LEGO box arts, especially the 18+/adult ones. But why exactly, out of all things, do I have a problem with modern boxes? So before I rush to the comments saying that there are way more important things to criticize like the prices or the use of stickers, I totally agree with you on this, and this is also why I regularly criticize these points in my reviews. However, today I want to talk about the box arts, and while it may not be that deep, we're in general talking about a company that produces building blocks and toys, so literally nothing is that deep, and I feel like boxes feel pretty important to me and my overall experience with the set. I don't know why, but I love to open a cool box with an amazing box art and would take that over the monotone 18+ boxes that we currently get any day of the week. In this video I'm mainly gonna talk about the Star Wars side of things, as my main themes on this channel are Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. While there probably are similar quote-unquote problems in other LEGO themes, I'm the most confident when talking about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings as I just have more knowledge about these. Overall, I have to say that the, in my opinion, pretty boring box arts and their overall amount of space they take away in modern waves is a sad thing to see, and yeah, I don't like it. Personally, I can only dream about those days where UCS box arts look like this. I think one of the peak examples of the beauty a LEGO box art can achieve is undeniably the 2015 UCS Boba Fett Slave 1. A great set that gets elevated even more by the beautiful background of the sky and sunset around Cloud City, which creates a magical feeling when looking at it and makes up for a timeless piece in your collection. I don't really think you're losing the 18+ audience here, as I myself am an adult collector of LEGO, and I'd love if LEGO went back to these kind of box arts. I think the perfect comparison to this is the new 2025 box art for the UCS Jango Fett Starship. Literally the same ship besides some minor differences like the color or some building techniques, but one of them seems way more soulless. I don't think that the 18+ boxes look inherently bad, but they just don't spark the same excitement as they used to. It is literally just a picture of the build on a black box of nothingness, while some of the older boxes look like pieces of art that you could very well display on their own. But let's move back in time to where all of this started. So I did some research on Brickset and I noticed that the first shift around the 18+ box arts happened when it gets to Star Wars around 2020, when not only the pandemic hit, but also a lot of adult fans came to LEGO. In 2019 we got the last UCS box art that included actual artwork and not only the model with a black background and some shine around it. And this is what I consider the peak between both of these art styles, but we'll get to this in a second. During the pandemic, a lot of people were super bored and searched for stuff they could do at home. A good amount of hobbies were gaming related, which is also why gaming gear like graphic cards spiked in the price, but also a lot of people wanted to physically do something away from their screens, and a lot of people got not only into collecting but also into building stuff like model kits or puzzles, and luckily for LEGO they are a perfect mix between collecting but also doing something physically, as you not only have to unbox but also build the whole set / collectible. And all of a sudden LEGO wasn't nerdy anymore, it was mainstream. Today a majority of people that I know have at least 1 or 2 sets on display at their home that they use as decor, even though they're not really into LEGO, and whether that is a Captain Rex helmet in a gaming room or some of the many LEGO flower sets on the kitchen table doesn't really matter, everyone suddenly seems to like LEGO. A lot of people have good feelings about this very company, as they played many hours with LEGO toys in their childhood and made a lot of great and nowadays nostalgic memories with it. While during the pandemic many people only dabbled into LEGO every now and then, there was also a big wave of new collectors that led to a skyrocketing aftermarket for retired LEGO sets and minifigures. While most of us are pretty used to these high prices now, they were not really normal before that. Before COVID things weren't cheap, but not as expensive as of right now, and a lot of this came from the what I call pandemic new collectors wave, and I myself was kinda one of them. I got introduced back into LEGO after I ignored it a couple of years after I stopped playing with it, just a year before that, and so while I don't fully fit into that description, I at least partly do. Even before the events we just talked about, the numbers of grown-up LEGO fans was increasing, and I feel like this movement exploded when COVID rolled around and had the world in its chokehold. Of course it didn't take long for LEGO to notice that, and oh boy did they adjust their course. While LEGO always had some kind of adult audience, hence why they sold UCS sets since the early 2000s, in 2020 it came to a peak and LEGO declared the Adults Welcome campaign. Which, to be fair, was probably planned way ahead of COVID because of the increasing numbers, but still it was kind of a perfect timing. While there were some adult collectors before, LEGO and such fans still had to deal with the stereotype that LEGO is a kid's toy and not something for a mature grown-up, and with stereotypes like this floating around, it's not that easy to win customers from that specific buyers group. So since the changes from the Adults Welcome campaign, now there is a clear distinction visible for everyone. Even if you're not that much into LEGO, if you walk into a store you can clearly see what sets are kids' toys and what sets are display pieces for an older audience. In total, LEGO changed the look and appeal of UCS sets to normal with the other Adults Welcome sets, and also added the black and premium looking box with just the model on it, and throughout every theme they released a ton of those collector's items specifically made for the purpose of display. Big UCS sets were suddenly 18+ and not 16+ anymore, and they introduced the Helmet series in 2020, which was the first 18+ Star Wars line that was not in the typical UCS set class. And then they followed up with the Diorama collection in 2022, and I guess the sort of pioneer for that was the Vader Meditation Chamber released in 2021. And now we also got the Starship/Midi-Scale collection, which started in 2023, for every premium fan who doesn't want the UCS sets, and I almost forgot the big Master Builder sets like the Cantina or Cloud City. While there weren't a lot of them, these sets would usually have been a big playset like the Ewok Village, but now they had a black box that was more appealing for older customers, and also some recent rumors state that in 2026 LEGO will launch a Star Wars bust collection similar to the Helmet collection, which I guess will be very similar to the Marvel busts, which are also 18+ sets specifically made for adults. So following on the declaring of the Adults Welcome campaign, they followed up with a lot of lines and sub-themes for adults, like the Helmet collection, Starship collection, Diorama collection and all of these things, which all had the same style of box. Now while I definitely understand LEGO's decision to double down on marketing and designing sets specifically for their older audience who got the money ready to spend, I don't think that the box arts need to be that simple and somewhat boring. If LEGO would enhance the box arts from earlier years, like the Star Destroyer, they could achieve a similar result while giving older fans like me the designs that we loved for years and want to see come back so badly. I kinda get that you want to convey a more adult and also premium looking product with this newer style of box arts, but in my opinion they lost their uniqueness and every set just looks the same. While the box art is definitely not as important as the actual quality of the build, it adds to the whole experience overall, cause if this wouldn't be the case, LEGO would just ship you the bags of bricks in a brown cardboard box, and they clearly don't do that, so yeah, box arts do matter. Take the 2019 US Star Destroyer as an example, which also had a box where the majority of it was black, and it still looked really premium, but not boring because they actually put some artwork behind it. The Star Destroyer is not only floating in some black void like the Venator that got released a couple of years later, no, it is floating in space and hovering over a planet. The UCS Millennium Falcon is flying through the colorful clouds around Cloud City as the sun sets, and all of this gave it a unique style and personality. They still looked like 18+ with that black frame wrapping around the boxes, and just the sheer size and price of these sets spoke for themselves. But now, LEGO just puts every single one of these sets in front of a black void and calls it a day, and I don't think this is necessary if you want to make sets that look like they're not toys. Box arts can still be creative and not look like a toy. If you compare some of the various playscale box arts over the years to my examples of the UCS Star Destroyer and UCS Millennium Falcon, I don't think that they look like they're made for the same audience, and also one looks way more like a collectible, and the other one way more like a toy for kids. I totally get that they wanted to go away from using the exact same style of boxes on the UCS sets as they used on playscale sets, because this might irritate some people, as in earlier waves like 2011 with the Imperial Shuttle, 2012 with the B-Wing, and 2013 with the X-Wing, they just used the generic yearly box design for the UCS sets, which I think might blend in too much with the playsets, but if you compare the UCS Star Destroyer to playsets of the same year, I don't think this is the case at all. Now while the newer all-black box arts were cool for a while, I really hope that LEGO returns to some more unique box arts for older fans and the sets made for them. I really think the best solution would be to mainly use the box arts from the UCS Star Destroyer and Millennium Falcon and slightly improve some things, or make some changes to make them look more like LEGO got in mind, but still have some cool and fitting background art that fits the model and even enhances it. Cause nobody can tell me that the UCS AT-80 wouldn't have looked cooler if it was in front of some snow on Hoth, like the old Snowspeeder, or that the new Jango Fett Slave 1 didn't deserve a similar box art flying around Kamino like the old Boba Fett Slave 1 had flying around Bespin. Once again, I don't think that the box art is the most important part of a LEGO set. That is of course still the build and building experience, and on the long list of important things that a good set needs, the box art is pretty low compared to most things, but I still wanted to voice my opinion, cause I'm really starting to get tired of this current style. But please let me know your opinion about this topic down in the comments below. Do you think I have a valid point here, or am I just waffling and nobody cares about some cardboard as much as I do? Feel free to voice your opinion in the comments. Now I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would very much appreciate a like to support the channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing to not miss any other videos. Also feel free to check out my other videos on the channel, and other than that, have a great day.